Peace, family. No, I'm gonna wait before we get started. Let the crowd build up for those who want to tune in. But what I'm gonna start doing is I'm relaunching my Facebook Live talks about relationships. I was doing them once a week on a Saturday. I'm still trying to figure out the frequency of how often I'm going to do them and when I'm going to do them. I don't want to wear you all out, but I think from the feedback that I was getting when I was doing them, people enjoyed them. And remember, you can still get my book, The Journey to Get the Love You Desire Begins With You. You can also go to YouTube, and it's How to Get the Love You Desire. That's my channel where you can actually begin to, watch some of the previous videos that I actually did. So today we're just going to talk briefly. I'm not going to be long. We'll talk about relationships. So if you have any questions, you can post it. But one of the things I want to talk about is that I try to study stuff that I see in life. And at my home, because my daughters, they wanted one, we have like a toy poodle. And one thing about this poodle, it is always asking for something. When it wants to go out for a walk, when it wants food, water, it's persistent. And sometimes I find it aggravating, but I thought about something the other day. I said, man, I can learn something from this little small animal. And I thought about how that can apply to relationships. And what we want to talk about today is how we have to really do a better job of asking for what we want in our relationships. Whatever it is that we want, we need to ask for it. Because if we ask for it, then there's a great chance that we're going to get it. A lot of times, the reason why we haven't received what we want or we say we want in a relationship is, one, we haven't asked, and two, we haven't really sat down and really thought outside of the superficial sayings of what we want in our relationship, right? So the benefit of asking for what you want in a relationship is that it will really show you and I if the person that we're in a relationship with love us. Because if we're asking for what we want in a relationship and they continue to not give us what we're asking for, then it will really help us really see that maybe this is not the person that I need to be with. Because if they love me, they will give me what I am asking for, right? And of course, now you want to make sure that we're asking them for something that they can actually do. You can't ask somebody to give you a Maybach Mercedes-Benz and they don't have the money for it. But I'm not talking so much about the financial thing, but some people may want that. But the essence of what I want to say, and I'm going to keep stressing it, is to ask for what you want in a relationship. You should sit down right now and think about what are 10 things that you would like your spouse or your mate to do for you in a relationship. Do they know those 10 things? That's the question you have to ask. Sometimes we assume that people know what we want. So instead of assuming, write down those 10 things. These are 10 things that I would like my boyfriend, my girlfriend, my husband, or my wife to do for me. Write them down. Give it to them. You may even give some examples of how they can do each of those 10 things. And give it to them and see. And if you give it to them and they begin to start doing them, you see that you have somebody that really cares for you. Now, if you give it to them and they don't start doing some of those things, then that's an indicator that we need to sit down and have a discussion, because I've clearly expressed to you and I put it on paper of what I want from you in order to make me feel loved and make me feel valued, and you haven't given them to me. Why is that? So I can't see if you're asking any questions. Maybe Brother Dwayne, you can look and see if anybody has any comments or questions. You can feel free to ask. But I'm going to start doing these blogs maybe once a weekend, maybe every twice a month or whatever. And if you find them to be beneficial, I would say leave me some comments, give me some feedback, give me some encouragement. So for those people who are just logging on, well, the point that I was stressing, I learned this from looking at this little poodle that we own, is that this poodle is very consistent in asking for what it wants. And I thought about taking that same principle and applying it to a relationship, applying it to a marriage. Let's ask for what we want. Don't assume. Don't throw hints. Don't throw subtleties. Be very clear, right? And have an understanding of why you want it. And I talked about earlier how we should take what we want, write it down on a piece of paper. 10 things that I want from my spouse, from my boyfriend, from my girlfriend, husband or wife. Give it to them. And then they will be able to take those 10 things and begin to start doing them. Now, some of us may say, well, if I got to write this down, if I got to write this down for him or her, then it's missing the point. It takes away from the special feeling of it. Well, I would say this to those who think like that. If you don't write them down, if you don't tell them, you're going to have what you had in the beginning in the end, which is nothing, right? We train and we teach each other. We train and we teach people how to treat us, how to love us, and how to do that which satisfies us. So I'm not going to be long with this. And I see we got Brother Kelly Augusta. Well, sister got Brother Gary Barabino that's on. But thank you all for tuning in. And if you found anything that I said to be beneficial, leave me some feedback. Let me know what stood out to you. Remember to get my book, The Journey to Get the Love You Desire Begins With You. Also, you can go on YouTube, and I have a channel titled How to Get the Love You Desire, and watch some of the other videos. And I would encourage you to share these videos and help me build my audience, and set your Facebook to Brother Willie Muhammad live notification so you can get it. So this is your brother. Peace.